For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horse. I think that's the first good afternoon of the Belmont meeting. I am Andy Serling, and he is the Big A, Anthony Stabile. And of course, Talking Horse is presented by our good friends at Saratoga Water.
There it is. I'm even wearing my Saratoga blue tie today.
Think you're going to break out a hat tomorrow?
Nah, I'll be all right.
You got more hair than I do.
I have a little more hair. I got all my hairs cut last week.
Me too.
The beard.
Me too.
Got the beard going on. Beard's nice protection.
Yeah, I was thinking of not. I almost didn't.
It's counterintuitive.
I almost didn't shave yesterday morning. I was thinking like because I had
need
about
the
4 or
beard
5
at
days
Belmont.
growth. And
Don't need it at
it's our last week at Belmont.
I know. We'll be back in the cozy confines, my friend.
I missed you last week.
I missed you
nice
as well.
week?
Had a good time with Acacia. Picked some winners.
Good.
Lost some money. Yeah,
I know. I saw you pick up winners, and I
very...
kept texting you about pick fives. He kept being alive, and then I got a root, and you didn't win, and then I don't know why you didn't have that. That one on Sunday.
I should have both of them on Sunday.
You really should have hit the late one. That was bad.
Stubborn.
That was
Very
play
stubborn.
on your part because you were all over all the
I should have
winners.
both of them. I really should have both of them.
We should
what
have
am I going to do with 6,000? I don't need 6,000.
Blow it.
Yeah, well,
You know the famous Stewie Younger line, right? When Stewie Younger won, I think his second World Series of Poker, and they asked him what he was going to do with the money. He said, blow it. Anyhow, what do we got? Oh, we got Naira bets. Head on over to Naira bets if you're not a member. Free $25 bet, by the way, plus up to $200. We'll match up to $200 your initial deposit.
How can you miss?
Breeders' Cup coming up next week. Use Cup25 and at Naira.com and become a member. Support horse racing in New York. Also want to remind people we don't have a slate, but we do have a contest on Saturday, and
last one here at Belmont,
at Belmont, and you have until tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Go to, I think it's Naira.com /
I believe they direct you from either Naira.com or NairaBets.com.
If you can't, as a friend of mine once said, if you can't find me, then so you should be able to.
Not looking hard enough.
Play the contest. My friend Paul won it a couple weeks ago.
Swiss skydiver on that graphic.
There she is.
I wonder what she's going to do.
She's going to run a race she can win.
Distaff or Classic?
She'll run in a race she can win, the Distaff. She has no chance in the Classic, and she can actually win the Distaff. Here's a question for you. Who will be favored, Monomoy Girl or Swiss Skydiver?
Monomoy Girl.
You say that with such certainty. I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure.
I think it'll be Monomoy Girl. I thought she was going to be 5-1 in the Preakness, and she paid $25.
Well, that was crazy.
Was crazy.
We even commented that on the show before the race came up.
That was crazy.
So race number 1, a big scratch in race number 1, Fried Rice King comes out.
Yep. He didn't want to go to walk today.
Does he?
He didn't want to go to walk today. Work. Get it? No good? I've been holding that for you. I've been waiting for you to come back when I saw
I'm
him
gone a week, and that's what I get? It's pathetic. It's really. Wow, is that bad? Oh, look, you defaulted to Noda.
Can't believe it, right?
No, I was shocked. I didn't see it coming.
This was a...
I took 1 to 9 that you would pick this horse, by the way, when the one scratched.
I mean, not too many places to land other than Noda. I think the only other horse you can even think about putting on top, and here's the one you put on top. I think it's 2-4 or 4-2. And
that's your analysis of the race?
They're going to be clear chalk. I mean, Allure has races... And the race last time, I feel like at least he showed a little life.
I agree. He's better going longer. He can win. Obviously. Well, Mr. Short and Simple's the speed. It just feels like his career's left him. But if you're one of those people that's going to decide that it's raining out, the track's favoring speed, something we don't really see here on most occasions where the track is wet. But he will be in front. As far as Microscope, this is a significant drop. This is a horse that was a really good claim by Gary Siaki, did well with, and obviously his form has eluded him, but he's been running against significantly better horses in his races. I mean, look at some of the odds he's been, and he's just in a more realistic spot here, and I thought he was the right one. I don't know that Allure, I think his best form is left. I did agree with you, he showed some life last time, but his best form has definitely left him, so I figured I'd take him as a slightly better price of the two.
He's the very least shown that he has some life on a wet track as well. Microscope as well. I think Microscope's probably better on a wet track than he is on a dry track.
You and I completely different opinions on wet tracks. I think most of them handle it. Very few of them move up on it. Some of them don't handle it. But I'd pick Microscope actually with Fried Rice King in the race. So I'm a little disappointed that he scratched. Race number 2. So we'll take a look at race number 2 at Storm Shooter, finishing third last time at 3-5. And I think, you know, this is where the conversation of the race begins. And for me, this horse is a very good play against. He was 3-5. He was bet like he was a good thing. He was on a good rail, and he just stopped. I know the horse who beat him came back and won the stake at Finger Lakes. He's extremely lucky because the horse who would have won the race broke about a furlong behind the field. And I also don't love how, you know, the second place finisher came out of that race to not run particularly well in a subsequent start. I mean, he ran okay, but he's supposed to win that race. I don't want him.
Okay, so Thin White Duke's trouble aside.
Thin White Duke was the horse that got left up at Finger Lakes.
Finger Lakes on Monday. I think Blue Gator's going to be okay. Blue Gator, the horse that beat the favorite Storm Shooter last time, I think he's going to be okay. And he looked the part the day he broke his maiden on a racetrack. Well, I don't think it's fair to judge this horse off one race.
He ran a 56 buyer at 3-5, riding a gold rail.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I judge him on that race. He's supposed to win. He had the track in his favor, and he stunk.
Also, it's the first start of his career as a 2-year-old.
I'm not saying he can't win today. He's going to be a short. You didn't pick him either, Anthony.
I didn't, but
It's going to be a humongous favorite in here, and I think he's a good bet against. That's my opinion.
Okay.
I'm not saying I wouldn't use him in a big pick 5 play, but I think he's a very vulnerable favorite in this race.
We found the same first-time starter, but
there's 2 to take, the 13 and 14.
Yeah, I would be very...
You went with the trainer whose horses are winning recently, as you usually do. So
that's it. I wouldn't take such a stand against Storm Shooter.
The one with the better family is One Whirlwind Ride. I mean, that horse, after 3 of 5 horses, could actually run a little bit. I'm going to key in on the 13 and 14 and try to beat Storm Shooter. I think will be a very vulnerable, extremely short price favorite.
I know Randy Hill's partners on the 14 One Whirlwind Ride, but me and B Racing.
MB,
yeah. I think this is the first one with George Weaver.
You're probably right.
I think this is the first one for George Weaver.
Well, it's probably because Randy's involved.
Correct. Right. But still, I think
this thing is really pumping the heat out.
Dylan Davis on the 2 Dream Point, right, by the way, as Manny Franco decides to ride the first-time starter, One Whirlwind Ride over the 2. So Dylan Davis is going to ride the 2 Dream Point, and Louis Cardenas is on the 16. So they're your riders for the second.
I mean, my feeling is a little different than you here. I think you're supposed to, in the race, try to beat the 4. Listen, we're betting for first-time starters. Maybe not a good run.
Right, that's the other problem.
So, obviously, he can win. But the other thing is it's myracehorse.com. Their horses are always
going to be pummeled. But I'm just saying, I don't know about...
But I think it's important to point out that he stunk first time out. He didn't lose because he lost to a decent horse. He lost because he stunk.
Stunk's a strong word,
You go to gold rail at 3-5, he's supposed to win, Anthony.
Right.
He's supposed to win. Horses like that, their records of coming back and winning are not very good. He has all the earmarks of a bit of a money burner. Doesn't mean he's not going to win today, but he's a bad play in my opinion.
Okay.
Race number 3. We'll show your horse, Madeira, who was claimed from George Weaver out of his debut. What do you think? You've got him on top. Here's his last race.
I do. This horse sitting just off the lead, going 6.5 furlongs, first time out, same distance as today. Makes the lead on the turn, and you would have liked to have seen her close the door. She gets run down late in the game here. Look, it was 6.5 furlongs. It was first time out for a barn that really wasn't going well at the time this filly ran. I thought she ran really well in her debut. She gets beat here late in the game. Like I said, at the 16th hole, she was in front. She just got tired late.
Anthony, this was
she
an
comes
awful
back.
field she was
Listen,
running in.
I know it was an awful field, but when you combine the fact that she has a race at the distance under her belt, she showed a little tactical speed last time, and she is supposed to absolutely love a wet track with her pedigree. A 452 Tomlinson. I mean, come on, Andy. What are you going to...
I hope, hopefully you're taking her as
obviously.
the favorite in this race, and she will be favored, I think, over my horse. I'm going to have to disagree with David, but maybe David's right.
I think the 4 will be short. I think it'll be very close, but I think they'll see all the maiden special weight races, stakes as a 2-year-old, and the first time for the tag was on the turf. I think your filly will be slight. I think the board's actually exactly where it'll be, 2-1, 5-2.
Okay, I figured she wouldn't be. That's why I picked her in here. I don't know. I thought the 6 would be a shorter price. She does have her second place finish to fool everybody with that perfect trip last time. But David's usually right about these lines, so we'll see. I just took the, as you say, the drop down in this race. Tried the turf last time, didn't run particularly well, even though she has a pedigree to suggest she should. She ran against some better horses. I'll take her. I don't know about Madeira. I got a feeling Madeira was bet because the field was horrendous last time out. And she ran fine. I mean, I don't think she ran badly in the context of the race, but truth is that I didn't think she's supposed to win that race.
I'm going to tell you this, too.
That's a bad field.
The Kanamachis have done a good job here the last few years.
Okay. So has George Weaver on this horse before.
Yes, but they claim a first-time starter. I cannot imagine there wasn't a little something, maybe a little story.
Sometimes there's a little story on a firster because they're trying to get people to claim them, Anthony. You got to be very careful
I
with
was
that.
going to that point. You're right. That could very well be the case. But they do a good job at the claim box. So.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I got the horse second. The horse is going to be co-favorite or favorite in this race.
You think about Hot Button. You got Hot Button third. I thought about Hot Button a little bit off the 2 turf races going long.
Hot Button is kind of a funny horse because horse is going to get bet because of turf form and be a short price and Irad Ortiz, and this horse you're supposed to bet against. It's really just a turf pedigree. I put the horse third because I absolutely despised everybody else in the race.
Okay.
But I don't really like the horse, and I thought this horse could be a very short price near. I'm not sure this horse couldn't be favored.
That was
here.
My problem with that, right. I can absolutely see them looking for a little bit of a fresh face.
This horse could end up being the favorite here. Thank God you mentioned him because I actually, I'm not going to be shocked if he runs because I have somewhat contempt for the other horses in the race. So I would use him with the 4 and 5 because I think they're the logical 2 in this race. I mean, we saw the race fairly similarly.
We did.
Race number 4, the first of 47 races off the turf
And all the
today.
distances, the second was off too, but be that as it may, they're all at their same distances. So just keep that in mind.
They're always the same distance at Belmont, right? Unless they're long distance races.
The long races, yeah. But you're just I like to, I think everybody could use a nice, gentle reminder.
I might need my gloves here. It's a...
Go ahead. Well, you put the gloves on. We'll tell everybody that
You're so much tougher than I am.
We have some riders for you in here. Louis Saez will ride the number 12 home run maker, and Irad Ortiz Jr. will ride the 14 Vineyard Sound.
Speaking of Vineyard Sound, why don't we take a look at him holding
Let's
off
go to the
Durkin's call
videotape.
last time out?
As the great Warner Wolf used to say.
I'm a little skeptical of Vineyard Sound Day. I've got him second. He's the horse to beat. But I got to tell you, I didn't think this was that impressive a win for him. He worked awfully hard to beat a horse he was supposed to beat last time out. Durkin's Call, who's had nothing but against the track trips, actually ran okay to finish third in here. He's going to be a relatively big price. I could use him. But I didn't want to put Vineyard Sound on top. I know he's going to be short, and I think he's in. I think it's got a little tougher today.
He's short. Well, look, I put him on top, and simply the Actress Barn's going well. He's won 2 in a row since the claim. So there was a voided claim on this horse just 17 days ago.
Perhaps one day they'll tell the public why claims are voided, so the people that actually support the game and bet their money aren't kept in the dark while other people know about it.
But now
that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Now you see that they.
Would be, right?
Yeah, of course. Well, now you see that they
we
run
can't
the horse
adopt
for
rules
32.
and then keep the bettors in the dark,
That.
Anthony.
I understand that. You see them raise the horse up. Now, obviously, voided claim, whatever it is. To me, that's a sign. Well, is it off the turf race? To me, that's a sign that they wouldn't mind keeping this horse, and if you want to take him for another $12,000, go right ahead.
I disagree completely, Anthony. It's an off-the-turf race. They entered him as an MTO in a race that could come off the turf.
But he's still running back 12 days later.
Right, that's all good and fine. I get all that, and I would like to know why the claim was voided, but they're not moving him up in class, Anthony.
No,
this is
I didn't say that.
arguably
I said
not
they're
a tougher
protecting
race.
him. There's a difference between what I said and moving him up in class. If you want him for another $12,000, you can have him for another $12,000.
But I'd like to know why the claim was voided last time.
I don't know. Well, here's what I do know. What this horse would have
back in 12 days after voided claim, Anth.
And to me, that would lead me to, now listen, I don't know this is fact.
Who's being protected here?
But to me, that would lead me to believe it was more procedural than it was an issue.
Okay.
Because
well, we have to be told. We can't guess. You want to guess it was procedural? I'll guess you're wrong. Okay, I'll guess you're wrong. Let me put it this way.
I think if the claims were, they have to go to the vets list.
Anthony, before that, well, we've seen, that's fair, but we've seen an awful lot of voided claims lately. Before this whole thing with the voided claims, and I'm all for the voided claim thing. I'm all for protecting parties involved as long as the bettors are kept out of the dark. The
I
thing
don't disagree with that.
How often did you see procedural voided claims before this thing? Once every 6 months? You never saw them. Anthony.
I think you'd be surprised at the mistakes that are made.
I understand, but you didn't see it that often.
Okay.
So you make a valid point about coming back in 12 days. That's a very good point.
The fact that he comes through, the fact that it's a great point. The fact that he's coming back in 12 days, what he has to go through to get over to the gate today, I think it's likely procedural.
Anthony, you can't give yourself a great point.
Yeah, of course you can.
No, you can't.
It is.
You cannot give yourself a great point. I'm sorry, in fact, you lose a great point. You lose some of your grandmaster points.
You're dressed for a snowball fight. You're telling me I can't give myself a great point.
It's about 6 degrees up here. So, my top choice.
Yes.
McCarran.
Dangerous in here.
Yeah, I like McCarran. I think it's funny that this horse, when he was running in those races for Todd, he was running routes on the dirt.
Yep.
It's really not clear that he's not a dirt horse. I don't know, and why if he has dirt ability, you know that his first start was I think he won a 4.5 furlong race in the dirt at Keeneland for Wesley Ward.
Well, this was an old Wesley.
And then he finished third. Then he finished third in a subsequent start as a heavy favorite in that stake race they would run on Kentucky Derby Day.
The WHAS.
Well, it became Kentucky Juvenile, but
yep.
as aficionados like you and I know. Why has this horse suddenly become a turf horse? Because Jason Service is the turf sprint he was. Fortunately, he was the turf sprint king.
Well,
but Todd Pletcher immediately went back to dirt, but he went back in routes.
Yeah.
I think Tom Morley, this is a very shrewd claim by him, and this is a horse that could just actually be a pretty good dirt horse.
And Tom did something that a lot of people don't have a lot of success doing. He claimed it off of Todd Pletcher last judgment and got the money with him on Sunday. He was claimed out of that race. So
yeah, Tom made $70,000 with him for the owner in 7 weeks.
That's the name of the game, man. That's the name of the game.
$10,000 a week.
So
I think this horse is extremely interesting in here.
I do too.
And I think they'll go more for the dirts in here. Not that he can't win, but I think he's a very interesting alternative.
Okay.
Home run maker, dropping down. I don't know.
Skyless Scramjet, first time Rudy. I thought Skyless Scramjet was a little interesting. He's another horse. 2 of his last 3 starts, he's shown some life.
Did you say sharks?
I did.
It's what I love about you.
Thanks.
Cute honesty.
Thanks for pointing that out. And he's the kind of horse where if he runs back to the race where you liked him in Saratoga, he might be able to get that kind of trip in here with some speed in here.
I hate that race he comes out of.
I know.
He can win. No, he can
but
win.
He's shown a little life, and that's important. I think that's, we mentioned that's important. I know, but he's like a lord.
Should we take a break?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Late pick 5 time when we come back.
Like a lord or a lord?
A lord. I'm a lord. That's a lord.
The Lord, little Lord Fauntleroy and I will be back after a quick break to hear from our sponsors at Saratoga Water.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
You know, Maggie told me I'm a wimp. She just texted me that I'm a wimp. Maggie wears a hat when it's warm out.
Maggie wears it for style.
She wears like that like big huge furry thing when it's cold out. And she's downstairs where it's warmer and the wind isn't blowing like it is up here. She's also right. I am a wimp, but not because I'm wearing the hat. I'm a little offended by that. A little. But technically, she was correct. So you want to give us some claim information?
Yes, I do. Claim was voided on Vineyard Sound due to common ownership from the claiming trainer, Jimmy Ferraro, and the trainer who he was attempting to claim the horse from, Rob Atras. So there you go. It was
so you were right. It was procedural. On the other hand, how did you find that out?
Jockey agent Jason Bidas.
Okay, that's nice of Jason to tell you. On the other hand, it would be nice if the public could get that information.
I agree.
And that's and I appreciate Jason telling you that,
Yeah.
obviously, but that's the problem. People know, but the bettors need to know. Because there's two groups that support this game. The rest of us are barnacles on it, including you and I. Owners and bettors. They pay the freight here. And the bettors need to get all the information that everybody else can get. It's just not right.
I don't disagree.
So, Forgotten Hero. Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about last time was the time and missing the boat. How's this horse going to win here with the presence of this horse sitting right outside of it? And we'll take a look at Bustin' to Please sitting outside of it. How is Forgotten Hero going to beat this field of horses?
Well, you know, and now we're going to go to intent. And the intent with Forgotten Hero is pretty obvious in here. And Forgotten Hero has to get to the lead. Whether she can or not.
Well, she'll get to the lead,
okay.
But she's going to have this horse who finishes second to better horse and tied up stalking her.
But is she?
She is in.
But is she going to be stalking her? If Louis Saez is in an all-out drive to clear this field, which is how Forgotten Hero needs to be ridden.
Drive.
Okay.
But Anthony, the difference between the horses she's facing today, in general, and the horses she's faced last time,
I don't disagree.
It's like she went from a clay race to a stake race.
Well, I don't know about that.
I do.
And I don't disagree, but she's the kind of horse, and these speed horses often get like this. She's dangerous when she gets in front, and they're asking her
she's won some races in front. Most of the time when she has the lead, excuse me, she loses.
Okay, but hold on a second. If we're going to talk about some of the races she's had the lead over,
in the front.
I mean, she's run against more often than not when she has coughed up these leads. She's coughing. You want to talk about comparing fields? I mean, some of those horses she faced stakes horses
Anthony,
last winter.
As you know, I've made a couple scores in this horse.
I know.
She's in too tough. Good luck. I wish you the best of luck. I think she's an insane pick.
Okay.
I think Bustin' to Please you have second is the horse that she has to beat. What about JC Shooting Star? We'll take a look at her winning at Saratoga. I mean, to be fair, this horse, I know she hasn't run that well in her last couple of starts. She's dropping off a cliff.
She is. I think the biggest problem with her is she likes to have a ton of pace in front of her. And is she going to really get that today? I don't know if she's going to get a ton of pace.
When she won this race, the speed didn't exactly totally collapse in here, Ant.
No, fair enough. But, you know, these efforts are few and far between from her at this point. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think she needs them to hit a little bit more up front. And
I think she's a major player in this race. I'm not putting her on top, but she can absolutely win this race. I think in fact, I know. No, I know. I've got her third too, but the fact that I believe that the speed can't win this race, and we disagree, means I believe brings JC Shooting Star in the race. I'm going to take Awesome Atlanta. I like the turnback. Linda Rice's numbers and turnbacks are okay. She's 23% overall with her turnbacks in the dirt. I've never loved this horse, but I like the turnback. I think she's good enough, and I'm going to take her on the cutback with Linda Rice. She also she won a race last time out where the rail was very good. She was sort of chasing outside. She was against the track in her last race. I think her last race is better than it looks. So I think she'll be a fair enough price that I take her.
Okay.
See how it works out.
I did not prefer her today.
Let's see. Race number 6, back to being off the turf. What do we got in race number 6?
We have Joey Martinez on the 3, Lil Jojo. We have Louis Saez on the 6, Prince of Caps. And we got Joel Rosario on the 15, My First Grammy.
That's why I picked it, because I knew that Joel was going to get the mount.
I don't even have... That's a rare one. I don't even have Joel on the top 4. But in my defense, I did not know Joel was going to be on the 15.
I hope Phil's not watching.
Phil's watching.
Phil's feels very
Phil's
bad.
Phil's probably sitting in the backyard smoking a cigar, even despite the cold and the rain, under the awning.
Okay. Why do you like Prince of Caps? I do have him 4th.
This was going to run for a tag first time on the dirt. Michelle Nevin's having a really good meet. He's going to catch a little bit of he's going to catch a lot of a wet track today. And I just wanted to give him one chance in for the tag on the dirt. That was it. I think it'll be a little bit of a price, too.
Okay, because he didn't do any running in his dirt races.
I'm very well aware, but I'm hoping that the drop in class, he's also been gelded He was gelded for his 2 turf races, but he was not gelded in his
Let me
dirt
ask you a
races.
question. What does it say that Chad Brown thinks of Bischoffberger? What is it? How do you spell it? Bischoffberger?
Bischoffberger, I think it is.
Bischoffberger? I should probably know what that is. I made fun of the Miles Davis thing. I should probably know who this is, right? Chad Brown's leaving this horse in. $475,000 yearling purchase.
Yeah, it was a nice Mott filly. She had some issues, but she was a fast filly.
Don't we all have issues?
She had some issues.
Okay. All right, I went more towards horses towards the outside. Hey, Julian, are you responsible for buying these heaters? Because they're the worst. The worst. You cannot literally feel anything. We digress. I'm yelling at our... Julian, you can't feel anything. I think these are made for indoors, not outdoors, these heaters. So you know. The other heaters are better.
Acacia.
Back to the regularly scheduled show here. You didn't pick a horse in your top 4 that was claimed by Bob Caceres, from Jaime Mejia.
I know.
You didn't think that was a horse you thought was worth sticking in your top 4.
I'm going to tell you what I don't like about it.
The recent form's too good?
There's 2 schools of thought here. He claims the horse, and he gives the horse almost 2 months to work on him.
Do we still have those old heaters? Because if we do, bring them out.
He gives the horse 2 months to work on him, or he's got some issues. Now, again...
And they all have issues, Anthony.
Hold on, though. You're looking at the 20, and you see the 40, but it's an off-the-turf race. So you got to be careful with that.
Anthony, to not have a horse that was claimed by Bob Caceres from Jaime Mejia in your top 4 in an off-the-turf race
this is your opinion.
Seems like you made a mistake. But that's okay.
I don't feel like I made a mistake. This is your opinion. There are a few things
I think you're rationalizing
I don't like.
leaving out a horse that should be in there, as should be Tenderfoot. Why wouldn't Tenderfoot be in there? Why wouldn't you want to have a horse like that, who ran a faster race against better horses, dropping down? Right, but you've got a first-time star that was entered for the turf.
Well, you're acting like I have this horse picked.
Well, you don't have the 15 in the top 4.
Okay. I don't like him.
Chad wouldn't have been mad at you if you didn't have Bischoffberger in the top 5, 4. He would have. I think he would have slept tonight.
This horse has worked well enough on the dirt where I don't know what he has to beat in here.
You don't have a George Weaver first-time starter, by the way, in there.
Okay.
I don't know. Okay. I see this race very differently than you. I could throw the 6 in, but I think any of the 12, 14, and 15 are all dangerous players and the very logical horses in here. You and I saw this race completely and totally differently. Race number 7?
The correct answer
number
is
7.
4?
Number 7. Number 7. I hope you have risk model on top. Oh, my gosh, you don't.
Oh, 4th.
Ooh. Oh, okay. Well, let's talk about the 4 and 6 coming out of the same race. Oh, wait, we're looking at risk model. Oh, why don't we talk about risk model? I like the cutback for risk model. I don't love this horse, though.
No, first time in a dirt sprint. Horse ran 7/8 on the turf. 1-turn miles to start her career down at Gulfstream Park.
She never even really got bet.
Because she ran, no, never. Make a great point. She got bet finally at Monmouth last time when she gets zopped here on the line, 4 or 5 jumps before the wire at 4 to 5.
By a bad maiden claimer, toned up.
Yeah.
The horse is named after me, by the way, in case you're wondering. Anyway, you don't have a response for that. It's too idiotic.
I have them, but...
Yeah, I thought this horse might take money on the Chad Brown factor. I think he's got a 5-1, but we'll see. As far as the tactical move, Undine race, go ahead, talk. You've not surprisingly got Mott on top.
Yeah, not surprisingly.
Why that much over Undine?
Say again?
Why that much over Undine?
I don't know. I thought she needed the race first time out. She didn't break well. I thought she
broke a little slow.
I thought she ran okay afterwards.
I didn't.
No?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I thought I would like Tactical Move a lot when I first looked at this race. But the more I watched, and she can run better today, I know, and Game Face was an okay runner for Todd Pletcher. I don't think she really ran that well. And I actually think Undine did more running in this race, to be honest with you. She was sort of chasing 3 to 4 wide. Tactical Move had a good trip after breaking like that, and she couldn't even run down Undine. And Tactical Move may move up in her second start. I have no problem with that, and I won't be surprised if she wins here. But I think she's going to be overbet in here, and I think they're going to ignore the other Belmont horse, and I'm not sure that they should. You look at the other Belmont horse, they try the turf with her. Okay, fine. She's not a turf horse. Her race 2 back was a very strong maiden race, and she chased 3 wide the whole way on a day that the rail was gold. So this horse was against the track and still ran a Beyer figure that's in line with the other runners in this race.
Yeah.
And I think she's going to get kind of forgotten about. She runs her first start. She doesn't come back for another 10 months. She goes, okay, and they try the turf. She's not a turf horse. I think she's an interesting alternative in this race that may get a little bit lost. The other Belmont, and you don't have your top 4.
No, fair enough. I mean, listen,
I mean,
they're
I may be wrong. I may
points.
be completely wrong about her. I'm not in love with her. But I'm not sure that Tactical Move or even Undine are that good, though they come out of a race. The winner's very good.
Yeah, okay.
Seaside Retreat.
Yeah, first time Lasix, first time off the long break, catches a wet track.
Shug's been going good.
Right, Shug's
Shouldn't do any running first time
really
out,
well.
but, you know. No, I agree. No,
She ran behind the stakes horse. I mean, I know she was far behind, but she ran behind the stakes horse. And
4-horse field, though.
Yeah, I know.
4-horse field. Okay. Race number 7. Claude's up here, by the way. Claude can't
race
wait.
7's over.
Race number 8. Claude can't wait to spend the afternoon up in the freezing cold with us, Kenny, in the Arctic up here.
Hi, Claude.
Hey, Claude. How are you? We're getting everybody involved in the show today. In a shocking upset in race number 8, Anthony picked Chewing Gum.
Well, I feel like Chewing Gum is kind of like McCarran in a few ways. When Chewing Gum ran on the dirt,
There's a
Chewing
reason
Gum
you're wrong, but
was
we'll
going
get to
long.
that. Yeah, here's the problem with that analogy. McCarran's recent form isn't very good. Chewing Gum is going to get bet in this race off of his turf form. That's my problem with him.
Okay.
I've got
But
him
he
second.
has good dirt
No,
form.
I've got him second, Anthony. I obviously don't disagree with you at all about his chances of winning this race. My problem is that from a gambling standpoint, he's probably not supposed to be the 2-1 or 5-2 that he's going to be in here. He's probably supposed to be a bigger price because he's actually running against some actual dirt horses in here. That's my concern with him. But I agree with you. His dirt form is just fine.
Yeah. It's a little chalky for me here, but I would think that the 3 horses you and I have 1, 2, 3 in a little bit of a different order are.
I'm not a big Wendell Fong fan, but we'll get to
No?
him. We'll get to him in a second. Look at Wicked Trick. This is the last race in Wicked Trick's amazing 6-race winning streak, whereupon he ran in the stymie, where he was over his head. Something went wrong. He came back. He didn't even run that badly against Frenzy Fire. He's
No, he
been
didn't.
away for a while. I don't know if he can catch lightning in a bottle again. You know what I mean? I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing. This horse got good.
Stopped on right around the time we had to go to the break for COVID. So it was, after the stymie where
March 7th, my last day here.
he
My last
didn't
day.
he didn't even run that. He ran okay in the
He ran
stymie.
fine. The speed held
Yeah.
up in that race. I agree. I'm not sure. I mean, maybe he's a horse that
That's always the
his
worry.
expiration date's a little past.
The worry is always
Can-
when the former claimers, when they have to, for whatever reason they're stopped on, it's hard to get them going again. And I just want to give him one. I'm going to use him. But if he had a race under his belt, I would have contemplated putting him on top of me.
I
I
don't-
think maybe a little bit more ground would help be his friend as well.
How
I think
far
it's
is this
6.
race? I don't worry about that.
I think it's 6 coming. He's 4 for 4 at 6, but coming off the layoff, I would almost rather him have a race under his belt.
We both have Battle Station in there some. I mean, we pretty much agreed in this
Yeah.
race. Wendell Fong, I don't know what to do with this horse. It's been a while since he was good.
Now he's entered in the Bold Ruler.
Yes, he is.
on
Think he'll come
Saturday.
back in 2 days?
No, obviously.
You know he's
not.
going to finish in the Bold Roar?
Yeah. Not as high as he's likely to finish
Put it
here.
this way, if he doesn't win this race, they made the right move running here.
That's correct. And you may be right with your general assessment, but I mean, this horse's best race clearly in his career was when that pace incinerated in the Gold Fever.
His
and-
Count Fleet, though, was actually pretty
Yeah,
good.
Count Fleet was
that was
fine.
I mean,
I mean,
there's
he's
an
running
argument that Count
against-
Fleet was one of the better races of
And
the year.
he's running, for a horse that's eligible for 3 other end, he ran against some Salt, Flagstaff, and Whitmore, and Manny Wah. Manny Wah's running in the Breeders' Cup. I mean,
It's some
he's run
ragtag
against.
group in that Breeders' Cup Sprint, huh? It's a funny group.
I don't know if ragtag's the right word.
How about Nashville's going to be one of the favorites in there off of two races? But that's never happened before.
That's an interesting.
You ever seen the movie Nashville? The Robert Altman movie?
No.
Great movie.
No.
You should watch more Robert Altman movies. McCabe and Mrs. Miller,
After the Breeders' Cup.
California
Give me a
Split,
list.
The Long Goodbye. We've been through this, Anthony. I'm just trying to help.
Oh, I need a lot. I need a lot of help.
Last
I don't know
race,
if
the ninth
that's
race
it.
today. Are you surprised that they left in Hurricane Breeze? I guess they figured she's running so badly, why not take a shot?
Take a shot.
Right?
Yeah.
What'd you do in here?
Did we miss riders in the 8th race? I think we may have missed
Who
riders.
cares? The Johnny, I'll give him out.
All right.
Oh, you went to the Linda Rice trainer change with Girardi. Why have second?
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to say concentrated outside here, but 3 of the 4 picks are outside. Yeah, trainer change,
This is
Girardi.
not very good, though.
Say again?
First is not very good.
No. I mean,
Not very good.
Source is running a 2 life against some horses that we've seen for like 3 years here. Or what seems like 3 years. The sprints are okay. I mean, this horse only sprinted twice in her career, 3 times in her career. She has a win. She has a 3rd. She doesn't have to be much here. First time tag, finding condition claimers off the turf.
Well, she doesn't have to beat much, but she probably has to run a better race than she's ever run before. And she is going from John Service's barn, and Linda Rice doesn't have particularly special numbers off of trainer switches.
No, and the barn's not going great right now, but I mean...
I'm not saying Lewis can't win, but I don't...
I would have picked the source of John Service training the source. It's not just the trainer chain. Yeah. John does a great job. Love John. I know Johnson's
I don't believe you, but okay.
I would have absolutely picked the source. The trainer change is not a big deal. I mean, but if the horse is going to come winter in New York, you're not going to keep shipping a horse up 95.
Well, it seems like a number of these horses are going to Linda Rice.
Yeah.
And maybe they're coming here for the winter because there's one in, I think, tomorrow or Saturday or the week from Thursday.
I would have picked the source of John. John Service, one of my favorite trainers.
Okay.
I don't just
you don't
have
to suck up to him anymore after you've disrespected him to begin with. He understands that you don't like him and you think Linda Rice is a better trainer. He gets it.
John.
Whatever you say now, you're just embarrassing
When
yourself.
Jaywalk won the juvenile fillies 2 years ago, John came over to me before he went over to NBC to give me my
news.
stuff.
Let's watch a replay of Classy Sadie and Stunning Munnings' last race. Actually, last dirt race for Classy Sadie and last race for Stunning Munnings. Because Classy Sadie has a significant trip. She's number 2 in here. Going to break okay, but she's going to really take the worst of it in here. Stunning Munnings, I thought, had a very pretty easy trip because Classy Sadie's in there in the pace. Bad mistake going the rail and just gets completely and totally taken out of the race. She lost all chance. Stunning Munnings is being sort of dragged back. I'm not exactly sure why. Probably didn't help her, but I think Classy Sadie really took the worst of it. And it really just totally took her out of position and it hurt her chances. I know she lost by a few lengths to Stunning Munnings. How much did she lose to her by? 3 1/4? 3 3/4?
3 3/4.
But I think it's going to be a much better price. And I thought her trip really stunk last time
And I
out.
think that the steadying, not only the act of the steadying, but look at where it puts her now. Right? This race almost develops like a harness race where there's an inside flow and an outside flow. And she just has nowhere to go. And now finally here, she gets a little bit of a seam. But again, from being inside of horses to in between horses. I wonder if anything goes different if he swings outside and goes around on this day. You're going to get a rider switch. Eric Cancell's actually, Eric Cancell's riding Classy Sadie today.
Can't have everything.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm going to use mostly 14, 15. I'll use the outside 4. But I thought she'd be a price, so I'd put her on top.
Okay.
All right. Getting ready to leave the wind tunnel? I'm only up here for 2.5 hours from 1 to 3:30. I'm going to be hovering under the desk for most of it. Where are those electric blankets, guys? We're done.
You want a dragon? Maybe just put a dragon.
I'm going down to see Kathy and have some tea, more tea made, so I can
That's,
get
I think,
ready.
the 6th person we mentioned on the show today.
I feel like I'm punch drunk. Anyhow, head on to Naira Bets if you're not a member, and we'll use promo code CUP25. We'll give you a free $25 bet, and we'll match them to $200 of your initial deposit.
Wow.
Also, you want to sign up? That last Belmont handicapping? I bet you didn't think I'd make that.
You're like Shaquille O'Neal, man.
Did not think I would make that
You're 1 for
shot.
2 from the line. That thing was almost wide
I had a heavier
right.
ball this time, so I could.
You almost went Norwood on him just now.
I don't see you doing any great feats over there.
I don't have any ammo.
You could throw a hockey puck at me.
Anyhow, I don't have much of a slap
Anthony and I
shot.
are done, but we're going to be back tomorrow where it's going to be even worse weather.
Why would I do something for free that I could make a lot of money at?
You make a great point. Anyhow, America's Day at the Races, 1 to whenever, 6, I think, today.
I believe 6 o'clock. We start at 1:15.
Keisha and I will be on to start. Greg and Richie, I assume. Of course, Maggie will be with us all day, probably wearing her big furry hat thing on her head.
Wow.
I don't blame her. I'd like to borrow that
I'll tell
thing.
you right now, I don't know if Maggie Wolfendale would be the one I'd want to go at. I don't know about that.
Maggie's been texting. We've been having fun all show. She's making fun of you.
I don't think so.
I don't want to tell you what she said, but it wasn't very complimentary. I kid. We're done. Johnny I's up
don't
next with
believe
the
you.
reprise, the scratches and changes.